Growing up as a child, have you ever felt a connection with a particular object that no one but you could understand? A connection that is sentimental to you and means more than words can define. Well, as a child, I did, and today I'm here to inform you about a particular item that is dear to me. Hello, my name is Brianna Bell, and I would like to take a few minutes to inform you about my stuffed animal, Roger. What started out as just an average stuffed animal became much more to me. Roger became a necessity at night, or I would cry. He was always found tucked between my arms tightly as a child. Roger also became my home away from home. Everywhere I was, surely enough, I had Roger to tag along. To begin my story, I would like to take a minute and introduce you to Roger. This is Roger. Roger is my white, pink-nosed, long-eared stuffed bunny. He was given to me by my godparents who raised me until the age of 6 years old. How did I come up with the name Roger? Well, in fact, the idea to name my stuffed bunny Roger came from a movie titled Who Framed Roger Rabbit, established in 1988. Even though this movie was broadcasted 6 years before I was born, it was still one of my all-time favorite films growing up as a child. Have you ever heard tell of teaching an infant to sleep without their pacifier being a challenge? Likewise, for my godparents, getting me to sleep without Roger was difficult as well. For some reason, I just had to have him at night in order for me to sleep. If Roger was not tucked peacefully in my arms, I would keep them awake and cry for the better part of the night. Over time, I made it clear that Roger had to be with me at all times, including my first minor surgery. Unfortunately, when I was a child, I was prone to ear infections. Due to these frequent ear infections, the doctor suggested to my godparents that I have tubes put into my ears. Upon the day of my surgery, while the nurses rolled me back in a red wagon, surely enough, Roger was tucked gently in between my arms. The feeling of having him with me allowed me to proceed through the procedure with confidence. This was not the only critical time in my life that Roger was found close by my side. When I was 6 years old in the year of 2000, I was in a terrifying car accident that happened shortly after the death of my papa. I was riding in the back seat of my birth mother's car along with my aunt and younger brother, when spontaneously a man was hauling a lawnmower on his trailer that happened to come unhinged and hit our car head-on just a few feet away from our driveway. Thankfully, everyone was fine but my mom. She had broke her kneecap trying to force her weight against the dashboard so she would not jerk towards the windshield. However, the car was completely totaled. Now, obviously, Roger was in the car with me, but was nowhere to be found when my mom checked. That night, all I could do was cry, because I thought Roger was gone for good. But my godmother, being the determined lady that she is, was not ready to give up, even though my birth mother had already checked for Roger previously. So my godmom went to the site of where our car was totaled and asked the mechanics could she have a peek inside the car. The kind men allowed her to do so, and by the grace of God, she happened to find Roger in the floorboard of the driver's side, buried underneath a pile of debris. Needless to say, I was as happy as a kid in a candy store, because my godmother had found Roger. My godparents also play a significant role in molding my connection with Roger as well. Simply for the fact that when I was only a couple weeks old, even though it was one of the toughest decisions he had to make, my papa, Charles Bell, gained custody of me because my birth mother was young and was not prepared for what was to come. My papa was sick with COPD, which is an abbreviation for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. This disease involves constriction of the airways and difficulty or discomfort in breathing. Actually, I can vividly remember him rolling around a green oxygen tank with tiny clear tubes that he had to insert into his nose. With this said, shortly after he made his decision, my papa knew his health was weakening. But he also knew my birth mother was not ready. So he went with his inner instinct and trusted two individuals who I now acknowledge as my godparents to take control of the situation, and indeed they did. To make a long story short, I was raised by these two wonderful people for 6 years of my life. And sadly, after the loss of my papa from a tragic car accident in the year of 2000, my godparents were faced with the only choice of returning me back to my birth mother, even though it broke their hearts to pieces. This is actually where Roger and my godparents compare the most. Since I had lived with my godparents for so long, I was adapted to their presence. I missed them dearly, and having Roger at night to hold close to my heart was the only connection to my godparents that I had to comfort me. And even though I was able to see my godparents on the weekends, moving into my birth mother's home was a rough transition for me to surpass. Who could blame me? I had not lived alone with her in such a long time. I was young, confused, and I did not understand why this was happening. All I knew was I missed my home, and Roger gave me hope. This is why when I analyze Roger, I say he was my home away from home. In conclusion, I came across this famous quote by a woman known as Mother Teresa. The quote implied, "Be faithful in small things because it is in them that your strength lies." This quote hits home to me because something as small as a stuffed bunny gave me courage. Having him near me gave me inspiration that things will not always be this way, that one day it will get better. I may not see it now, but it will. Reminiscing back in time, I can now see how Roger helped me stay positive, and now that I am older, I can see how it actually worked. All the positive thoughts I would say to myself finally proved its value. From my short story of how my stuffed bunny Roger holds special meaning to my heart, I hope I was able to show you it's the small things in life that matter the most. I am 18 now, but when I hold Roger gently to my heart and tightly in my arms, I can still find that same comfort I did when I was a child, especially on my weakest days. Like always, Roger never seems to fail at helping me become that much stronger. Thank you.